Alright, what's good? Hold on a second. Restream chat. What just happened? Where'd it go? Did it not open? Okay, it did open. Alright. I thought for some reason it wasn't going to open. So. Alright, there we go. Nice. Time to finish these in some capacity. What layer is this? Got it. Maybe this might be. I think this might be a good thing to use right now. Especially if I want to get some more three-dimensionality in it. And then I can worry about the lines later. Part of me wonders if I could just make these little, like, kind of rock things. Okay, so if I'm going to do that, then that will warrant its own kind of layering. So that way I don't have to worry about erasing over the wrong things. So. And then I can just erase from it. At least that's the goal. I want that contour to make sense here. But if I do that, then I feel like it has to be the same thing. That same problem with like big, medium, small. Keeping those things in threes are going to be kind of the hard part here, where I feel like I probably will have to zoom in at some point in time. Because I think last week we kind of got the bigger picture with some of these shapes. And so now you want to get some of the smaller tertiary details. Or secondary details. But I think at this point this will probably be tertiary details. So if you're joining up late or you watch this late, I did start the stream a little bit of an hour later than before. That's because I'm taking on some new responsibilities in 2020. I am trying to learn how to cook. Not learn how to cook, like I know how to cook, but I'm trying to do it more from the wife. Been very, very blessed to have a wife and longtime girlfriend, who's now my wife, to cook for me. And that was always kind of a nice thing. But I may have taken advantage of that for probably a little bit longer than I should have, because, you know, cooking takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. So in that respect, it takes time away from her that she could be doing her own things, you know. So while she's cooking, I'm kind of just doing my own thing. Either I'm, you know, working out, doing some work in the office, that kind of stuff. And every once in a while I try to help out, or when I can I try to help out with some stuff. But this year I would like to cook everything in its entirety, meaning that she can just come home from her workouts and, you know, dinner will be made. So With that said, I probably will have to start doing Tuesdays at a later time to accommodate for that. Now that's kind of like my thing that I'm trying to do in 2020. So we may have to alter the schedule. Before we were doing twice a week at 7 p.m. Now we're just doing once a week at 7 p.m. And now it's going to be probably once a week at like 8 p.m. Or possibly like a 7:30 situation. I'm not really sure. But probably 8, I think, is a safe time for me to do this and not have to really worry about whether or not I have enough time to do what I need to do. Yeah. So it's actually kind of nice. I was able to cook at a comfortable pace and then have time to eat with my wife, which is nice. Normally when I'm streaming, you guys will probably hear my wife will come home and she starts cooking, and then she kind of has to eat without me because I'm still in the middle of a stream. So this actually kind of stops that from being an issue, because we have until essentially 8 p.m. to kind of eat together. So we can eat together, and then if she wants to make some kind of dessert or do her own thing, she has that hour to herself then too, where I'm not constantly annoying the shit out of her. So it works out for everybody. Okay. I like what's going on here, but I'm not sure if I'm feeling the shapes exactly. I just like the idea of kind of a rocky surface that's kind of jutting out in certain areas. But I'm not sure if I like the design, though, to be honest, because what I would want in theory is just more negative space, more little pieces. So the idea of that whole texture idea is that, as we get closer, you would want these to be more spaced out, a little more overlap, and just a little bit more finer details here and there. So you just want to have a gradation of spacing as we go further back. So just like it just gets a little bit more claustrophobic. So that's all that I'm trying to do here, is get it a little bit more to kind of feel a bit more claustrophobic, a little bit more bunched together. Find some more interesting shapes that are kind of jutting out in different directions. Of course, it's all going to be kind of triangles to some degree, but right, we still want there to be a lot more different kinds of spacing. We want to kind of feel like it's wrapping around the mountain here a little bit. And this is where I'm probably zoomed in a little bit too far for my liking. Because I get to there and we kind of lose some of that. So I think that's where I think this probably is a good kind of spot. So at this point right here, if I don't like that, then what I want to do is just layer it with another layer. And so what will happen is I like what's leading up here, but the overlap from here to there, not so much. And so sometimes what can be helpful is to kind of separate the layers so you can get the overlapping and the sizing correctly to where you want it to be. And that will make it a little bit easier, because then what happens next is you make another layer of the smaller stuff, and at least you get the sizing correct, which is like nice to do here. All right, so you can see the sizing now is a little bit more spaced out correctly. And it's nice because I'm not drawing over, I don't have to worry about drawing over the wrong thing here. So that's where that can really, really help out. And I kind of noticed that in like people's work that I like, that I admire. Their proportions in terms of detail as it gets further away is always like really, really strong. And that's kind of hard to do. It's hard to mimic, I would say, if anything. So I want to see if I can mimic that, if at all possible. So there we go. All right. Let's see here. Desktop audio. Is the mic working? Okay, it is working. Cool, cool. Check it out. All right. So now that I kind of got that part like into a place where I like it, now I can go back. What I'm doing is I'm going back to that original layer and I'm kind of messing around with it. And then I probably could make another layer, but I think this next part right here is where I can just kind of fudge it a little bit and just make smaller details, you know, just here and there. And hopefully it will kind of just get bunched up and there'll be kind of really interesting spacing going on. And I'll probably use some lines here and there to help kind of show a little bit more contour, is what I'm hoping at least. So. And let's see here. Cool. All right, so that has a nice kind of feel to it. Once I get there, now I can kind of go in and if I want to, I can like properly kind of add some lines here and there. So let's actually do that. So you want the biggest one to already kind of be there. All right, so I'll probably make another layer and I'll just do the line art on the other layer, just in the off chance that like I don't like it. I want to be able to kind of take a step back from it. Though with thumbnails, I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have just drawn it and just lived with the consequences of putting lines over it. But because we're kind of taking our time, like normally I would have just done this like in a day, no layers saved, just would have painted it, and then if a director likes something, then I have the option to kind of go back. And normally I would just redo it again because the comp will be simple enough that I can just properly kind of plan it. So normally I wouldn't even care, but I think because it's kind of like personal right now, not personal, but there is no rush in terms of a timetable. No one's beating down my neck, then I can kind of just paint this for what it is and just kind of take my time. So, all right, so that's fine. And I think when I kind of zoom out and I kind of look at it as a whole, I think it kind of gets across what I wanted to do. So then we just kind of call that done. You know, I could probably go back to this brush and maybe get a little bit more of like a chalkier kind of look to it or something, like if I want to do something like that. But I don't think it's necessary in order for this to kind of read. But if I want to kind of make sure that it you know, has the same kind of look and feel, then I may go back in there and just kind of add a little bit of that extra like form to it, but it's totally not necessary. At that point, it's more just kind of styling. All right, so we got that down. You know, I'm wondering if this guy over here could use some love in maybe, like, you know, in terms of you know, you can kind of throw in some light in there and stuff, and so you get to kind of go in and kind of press down. So it's a little bit of texture, but that stuff isn't really important. So I guess we can focus on these ones now. I don't know. What do you guys think? Alright, so that's not too bad in terms of like thumbnails. And let's see. Okay, we have that one, we have that one. Oh, is that one in the wrong layer? It is. Can't have that. Cool. Alright, these ones are right here. Alright, I'm kind of with it. Let's see here. Dude, I was reading this like message or whatever on Riot. Apparently, the woman that sued is gonna get like $400 million. I was like, holy shit. Good for her. I mean, 10 million would have been good too, but 400, I'm definitely taking in the bank. Get your money. All right. All right. Okay, here we go. I've totally forgot what I wanted to do here. I remember I blocked it out last week, and I have no clue what I was thinking. All right. I remember there was a darker value here, and I believe there was a tree. That's what I believe there was. Let me turn this off a little bit. So there we go. So this will help me kind of create a little bit more, yeah, there we go. Sometimes a little line work is all you need to get the party started here a little bit. I would imagine if I'm going to start balancing texture right now, probably a little bit too early for that, but if I kind of know where the piece is going to go, I might take that chance right now to kind of work on it. But this has to go. So I'm realizing now that was probably the issue. Alright. Make a new layer. Well, I guess I would make it a little bit darker. Toby, you should go upstairs, buddy. Hey, relax. Hey, Toby, get back inside.
Oh, did you run downstairs?
Yeah. Yeah, he was already down here, but... Sorry, my cousin's home. Alright, how would I do this? Okay, yeah, never mind. I know what's up. Okay, there we go. So I kind of want to think of it maybe like a monkey pod tree or something. Something you would see on the island. I think that's kind of where I want to go with it. So okay, yeah, that could totally work. There we go. That's kind of cool. So the question is, like, how crazy do I want to get the form and stuff? And the answer is not too much. So maybe we just kind of throw in a little bit of a gradation here. And not use red like a noob. But we can definitely throw in a little bit of that contour lines and stuff here and there. So totally not necessary, but you know, if you're trying to kind of sell it a little bit, especially if you're trying to blend that ground in, then that can kind of help give it a little bit of like a texture to it. So it's totally kind of up to you, like where you want to go with it, yeah. So so let's see. Overall, it's not looking too bad. I mess with it. Okay, so let's get that mid ground figured out too. So we'll make one more layer behind it. I'm assuming we're gonna pick this value right here, and I'd like it to be a little bit of a counterbalance here. So the way I'm thinking about it is, oh shit, what the hell? Oh, okay. I was painting at a lower opacity. I forgot. Okay, so the way I'm thinking about it is if the angle of this guy is going this direction, right? If the angle of the foreground is going this direction, I don't want to make it straight, right? So this is what straight would look like. So I want to make it go a little bit off center. So straight looks like that, and it's like not there, but it's kind of parallel to it. So that means I want this to go like a little bit downward. So if I draw a straight line, I'll do that in blue so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. If that's a straight line, I want it to go a little bit downward, kind of like that. So just a little bit off. So if I want, because I actually just painted this out, I could actually just erase from this side to that side. And there you go. See? Now we have it at the angle that I want. And we just paint over the red like it never happened. But at least you know that's what I'm thinking. So it's not completely foreign if I go that route. So, but the next question is, you know, where do you want the contours? So let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, we can probably still go as dark. So okay, so I might mess with like making it something like not too like bumpy, I guess, or not too straight. So you want to mess with like the Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it straight. I'll just keep that bump right there. But with that, we do need to kind of address the this elephant in the room, which would be the gradation of this. So, I mean, we could kind of go straight down with it. I'm not really sure where we want to go with that. See, we can do that, which would be kind of nice. So, if I do that, you know, we could throw in a little bit of texture. I'll hit 3 to make it 30% opacity on the brush. And we're just hoping that we get a little bit of like a gradation there. You know, not necessarily really important, but you could always use that later, yeah? And then we now have the shape of the tree behind it. So again, I want to go for like kind of a monkey pod style with the shape here. Like monkey pod tree. So that means kind of a lower base. And it's definitely going to go like out. And less contrast, so this is probably where I need to probably look at some more monkey pod trees, because like I know what they look like, but if I really had to like break it down, then I would probably be screwed. And so what we're doing here is a very simple very simple kind of composition, like a 1 2 3. So I mean, you guys know the game here at this point. What the is that? Oh, okay, sorry. I'm about to get in my feelings for no reason. I apologize. Okay, so like you always kind of see me do like this kind of counterbalance thing. It's kind of like from I kind of learned it from life drawing, you know, when you're doing like muscles, you know, when you're doing like gesture drawing, and you know, right, the kind of contrapposto. I feel like trees, whenever you draw trees, you want a little bit of that contrapposto in there. So that just means that if you're going one direction, just kind of go the other direction. If you can kind of cross and crisscross in different directions at different thicknesses, then you're kind of good to go. So like this brush, this rotation really comes into play here, and it's like really cool. And is that Toby, relax. What you can do is push it to the side, and then you rotate it, and all of a sudden you get a smaller version of that size. You get what I'm saying there? So like it saves me the trouble of having to do it this and then make my brush smaller and do that just by turning the brush over on one side, right? You can just kind of do that. And if you want to make it a little bit thicker, you just kind of go again. So those kind of things will save me a lot of time, like in theory. So anyways, I probably shouldn't worry too much about this, just for the simple fact that we're probably not going to see a lot of the branches. So but you do want to spend a little bit of time of how these things kind of flow, because then when you actually paint the stuff over it, you want it to feel nice. So this is very much like trial and error. Like I like this base that I have here. This base feels nice. Has a nice kind of flow to it. And the angle is kind of nice. So at this point, you can kind of just rinse and repeat. Like if you want to, you could even just copy and paste some things as well. So it's totally up to you, like how deep you want to get into it. Okay, so once we get to that, the real question is, what value do we want the tree to be or the leaves to be? And usually, if I'm thinking of a monkey pod tree, it will be a little bit lighter. So you can see kind of how I'm doing this. It's like very simple. But what I'm trying to do though is I'm trying to kind of keep it within that bounding box that I made. because that's kind of important. It's not, well, I take it back. Like, it is important, but it's not the end of the world. Like, the bounding box is definitely a guideline, but because this is a comp, right? We're doing a composition. I don't want to get too married to it early on. I feel like if this comp gets like approved, right? In my head, if it gets approved, then you don't want to touch it, right? Like, you have everything figured out, so just like render it out. Like, don't fuck with anything if you can help it. So, but I do like the way it's going. I just need to kind of get some of these strokes. So I'm just trying to get this the motion to kind of read the way I want it to. Sorry, this is like gonna take me forever. I don't know, like, this all looks good, but then this part looks like ass. So, okay, here's the problem. Do I want to make it feel like we're looking on the top of it going down, or on the top of, or underneath it looking up? So, because if that's the case, we wouldn't have this angle. So in my head, the problem that I have to solve right now is if we're looking at it going down like that, then obviously it's a much more easier shape, versus if we're looking at it going up, it's more of like a cylindrical situation like that. So we're seeing underneath it. And a part of me thinks we should have it going down, which means that this thing that I drew originally would have to change. It would have to kind of go in this shape actually instead. So I need to kind of evaluate that and understand, is that okay to make that change? So we're going to go with it for now, and then we'll see what we can do with it later. Okay. Which means I probably need to change this thing here. And for the sake of argument, I should probably change my eraser tool here a little bit. That way I can make some changes. Okay. Sorry, my wife and my cousin are like talking up a storm up there, and I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Okay, so like, do I want to keep that this little piece right here? But then, like, it seems like this little top button thing. Oh man, I don't know how to solve this. It's so weird. Alright, I guess the only way I solve it is to get rid of it. So maybe that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, I guess that works. I want to see a little bit more of the tree, like here and there. So I'm just trying to find out ways to kind of get like a primary and tertiary shape. So okay. So I guess maybe if I just kind of, and I wonder too if the angle is an issue for me right now. So like I'm wondering if I keep going in this direction, right? I'm wondering if I have to go in that direction. Long arm 358. Yo, what's good, man? How are you? How's your arm? Just kidding. Let's see here. Or it could be your gun. It could be a long gun, right? How's your gun? All right, so we're trying to paint a freaking tree right now. All right. Just got, you never know, man. You never know, bro. You never know, man. All right, you know what? Let me draw the other tree first, and then we'll figure this fucking problem out. Cause right now we're having, who's got an art block? This guy. So. So maybe if I paint this one out first, then maybe I can solve this issue. But yeah, painting a tree is kind of a pain. And then I still wanted there to be like a light value back here too. Like in my head, I still wanted there to be like some clouds and shit. Like some freaking, like some heavy duty, you know, clouds. Like I still wanted that. Don't think I forgot about the clouds, because I didn't. So I still want all that. Like I wanted that, and I wanted, you know, some nice some nice details here, like waterfall and stuff. So I didn't forget about that. So if I'm having trouble with that, like maybe what I can do is I can begin to kind of solve that issue. So by possibly solving this issue, maybe it will reveal itself to me of what I should do with the tree. So normally I would probably just like, I would just actually look up some reference and do some studies, but for the sake of time, and most people don't want to watch that, I'm going to try to be a little bit more paint by instinct, I guess, is what I'm trying to do. Why is this red? Yeah, we can do that. So yeah, I'm trying to paint by instincts, just a little bit. And the more I look at it, the more I'm like, maybe I want this to be a little bit more blended in. So we see that. And then maybe I want this to be more... Alright, because now that's starting to look okay. I don't know. What do you think, long arm? It's so hard. So, like in my head too, like I want to maybe put in some, you know, the typical shit that I always draw, like waterfalls and stuff, right? Like that kind of stuff would be kind of nice to have. So, Like that's what I'm thinking about. But what I'm thinking about and what's gonna happen are two very different things here. But that's in my head. I want to break that down. Okay, so this will have to be even darker. So luckily I can just do this. Or, you know what? I can just lower the lightness. Which means this guy will have to be a little bit darker as well. Just so we can see it. And it'd be this guy. So we're just going to darken the whole thing a little bit here. So this is where layers can kind of come into handy here, because then you don't have to then worry about all this stuff. See how much more easier that is than if you wanted to kind of paint it by yourself. So with that said, we just want to kind of blend in with the, there you go. Still playing soccer? Of course, man. I played some yesterday with my coworkers. I plan on playing tomorrow. I was going to play tonight. I did some dribbling actually in my garage. Just doing some ball work around some cones because my left foot is not what it used to be. So luckily I was doing some cone work. My team Arsenal tied. Thank God. That was one hell of a game that watching it was fucking stressful and annoying because I hate our defender Mustafi, but it's a whole other can of worms rather not get into. But other than that, the balling life is good. Still doing physical therapy, and that's really, really helping out. So I don't know, maybe in the upcoming season or year I can go back to playing on a team again, like an actual competitive team. And we'll go back to that. Liverpool fan, get out of my stream. I'm just kidding. You know what? I don't have an issue with Liverpool, to be honest. Like, y'all haven't won shit for like 60 years. So, you know, I can't hate, you know? I mean, I have some fans that are Liverpool, some old teammates that are Liverpool fans, and I felt bad because they were like winning, and this is the time when Arsenal wasn't doing shit, so I was kind of like, hey, I'm happy for you guys. You guys are like doing your thing. And then towards the second half of that season, y'all were like fucking up, and then Man City won, and I was like, ugh. Then you guys won the was it UEFA? I forget which cup y'all won. And then you guys won a cup, right? Or was it the Spurs? I forget. I'm pretty sure you guys won a cup last year. And I was just like, man, like they need to like not mess that up. And they totally did. And I felt bad for this guy I play soccer with, this English dude. Who's a total like Liverpool fan, and like you could see the stress in his eyes as they began dropping points like here and there, and I was like, uh-oh, that sucks. But the team that I actually like watching now, like I like watching Wolves, because I like watching Adama Traore. That guy's like a freaking like linebacker, and it's like crazy. It makes me think that I can get buff and like play soccer. And then Pookie, is that his name? I have Pookie. I like that striker. Pookie EPL. Where is he from? Timo Pukki, yeah, there we go. Norwich, that's the team. I like watching those guys, to be honest, man. Yeah, like even though I'm an Arsenal fan, there isn't much good shit to be watching for Arsenal, so I kind of have to start watching other shit. Yeah, I like the Wolves. I like watching them. I like watching Crystal Palace. I like people like Zaha. I like watching Pukki. I like watching that kind of stuff. Even the Latin kids from Newcastle. I forget his name. He actually came from the MLS. and he's like doing really well in the EPL. So yeah, Finland. Yeah, I don't know where Pookie's from, but that guy has kind of like swag to him, and his game is good. I like his game a lot, and I fucking hate Hotspurs, but I have to like give love to Son. Like I feel like most Arsenal fans are like I hate Hotspurs, but like I kind of like Son. He's like a lovable guy, and you can't like not hate him. He's like the only like Korean player I think in the game like just dominating. So I kind of have to just show him love in general. So, and then yeah, as an Arsenal fan, you have to hate Hotspurs. It's kind of like a rite of passage. A Hotspur fan could be totally nice to me, and I'd be like, I have to hate you. Like I just there's something that's not personal, but it's just this goes on for it's like tradition. You have to do it. But Liverpool, I actually was kind of excited to see a Japanese player start playing. Minamoto, I think that's how you say his name. It's always good to see just different cultures in the game in general. So I was really actually kind of excited to see Minamoto play, represent Japan. I mean, besides like Nakata, like those guys, you don't really have that many Japanese players. Yeah, Son's a beast. I really like Son. He's a really nice guy. So it's hard to like not root for the guy. He's fast, and I mean, it's even crazier to see. Like I follow some kind of like some clubs, like trainers. I follow some trainers in in Korea, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy like what he's brought to the game for Korea, and now you see like these kids now that are training out there. They're like 8, 9 years old, and they're just straight ballers, man. Like JK, it's called J Kart Soccer Academy. They're on Instagram if you ever follow them. They're like, man, I really enjoy watching his like Instagram videos because these kids like ball out, and they're really good in tight spaces. It's really strong, really like strong like potential players that are like what. So that's like super cool to see. At least for me to see the game kind of grow in that manner. Leicester's crazy in the sense that like I'm mad at myself that like I never bet on Leicester that year they won. Like that's crazy. Like I forget what the odds were for them to win a Premier League that season, and it was one of those things. I remember watching it. I was just like, all right, like it's the first half of the season, so like yeah, they're probably gonna get some lucky wins, but then they'll probably drop off as most like bottom tier Premier League teams do. And they kept winning and winning and winning, and then you're like, wait, what the? And then all of a sudden, like they're just winning, and you're just like, wait, what is going on here? And the next thing you know, they win the whole thing, and you're just like, it just goes to show, man. Like half of those players were like this close to like just being like busboys, like at a restaurant. I think one was like in jail at some point, like had like jail problems. And like now they're just dominating. I mean, it just goes to show, dude. Like, you can like just follow your dreams. Like in general, like you never know what might happen, man. Because Leicester City, a lot of those guys were down and out for sure. And then they came out and they balled, and that's freaking tight. That's like super cool to see. People like a team that was put together on such a low salary and win. Is like unheard of. Like you never see that happen. It's like Moneyball, but for soccer, for football. I got this Korean guy who burns me with his pace every Sunday morning. Yeah, dude, Asians are fast, dude. I know it sounds racist, but it's true, dude. There hasn't been like one Asian dude that I've played with that was like slow as shit. This doesn't happen. Like one of my favorite guys, like I used to play soccer with in high school. His name was Yuki. He's Japanese. I recently like went and played with him in an alumni soccer game. And we do this every year. We play an alumni game against former like everyone that went to the same high school and played soccer there. We all play against each other. And so I'm 33? And then we're playing against kids that are like 18, 19 who just graduated. So of course like they're just running up and down the field, but my friend Yuki is like my age, right? Like 33, 34. and he's running like toe to toe with these kids, like full sprint, and I'm like, and these kids are like can't figure it out, and I'm like, dude, you just got dusted by like a 34-year-old dude that like doesn't play like every day anymore. And it's because, man, they're freaking fast, dude. Can't outrun them, dude. They're just always quick. And then like one time last year when I was playing on a team before I got injured, I was playing on a team with a couple of Japanese guys that like played development league in Japan. And this guy's name was like Yasu. And this guy was freaking fast too. And he's like older too. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, this is some bullshit. Like, why are these guys so fast? So you never know, dude. But yeah, Cinderella story of Leicester. I mean, you can even attribute that to like art in a way too. Like, look at like Virgil van Dijk, right? Like, people forget, right? That guy won like the Golden Boot or whatever. That guy was a dishwasher, man. Like, isn't that crazy? That guy was a dishwasher before he became a professional player, and like his boss like told him like all the time to like quit doing soccer. Like, think about that for a second. Like, the person that won the Golden Boot was washing dishes in Dutch or whatever. Yeah, he was a dishwasher. He was a busboy. And his boss literally told him, you can look it up, his boss literally said, like, you should quit soccer. Like, you're not gonna, like, there's no money in that. Like, you're wasting your time. You should quit soccer and you should just focus on the restaurant. At least then you'll make some money. Exactly, right? Like, that's fucking crazy. That someone told... Now, granted, he won it, and now the boss is like, hey, man, thanks for not listening to whatever the fuck I said. So, again, the boss wouldn't apologize later, and he's like, now super proud of him because he didn't listen to him. But that guy, like, totally told him, like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do soccer. Like, it's kind of a waste of time. Like, no one ever makes it. You know, you should just focus, like, get a regular job and just call it quits. And now that guy is, like, you know, a freaking the Golden Boot. Not to mention too that like when he first got into the league, like playing with clubs, like he didn't get along with people, like he was kind of awkward, like he wasn't that good. And again, people told him to quit, and now that guy's like the best fucking center back in the world. Like, you can't get by him, like it's impossible. Like, center backs are super hard to come by, as you can already tell. Like, as an Arsenal fan, we have no fucking center backs, so that's a whole other problem. But that guy's a beast, right? Like, he grew 8 inches like in like that 1 year in like high school or something. And then like he's even like a striker. Like, he was a striker at one point in time. They wanted him to be a striker, and he wasn't really that good at it. And then, you know, moved to defense. Like, he's a total late bloomer by every stretch of the imagination. Was not a person that people wrote off as like, oh, he's gonna be like the next Messi. Starting out, like, he was a regular dude. So the fact that he was able to kind of, you know, create that situation for himself, and again, coming from kind of like, you know, not like a rich family, like that kind of situation, like his dad wasn't in the picture, stuff like that, like, by all accounts, he should not be nearly as successful as he should have, you know, given statistics of, you know, that kind of stuff, right? Given his circumstances, most people would have fucking failed. Yeah, he scored that off that header. And that's some pure grown man shit too, where he just jumped over the dude and just fucking dominated him. And that's like the worst feeling in the world when you get. I think the worst feeling in soccer is when someone either megs you or scores a header off you from behind, meaning like they literally just jump over you. It's equivalent of getting like alley-ooped in like basketball. It's like the same shit. It's like, it's super emasculating. It fucking sucks. Thank God, like, I just get out the way. I never go for headers anymore. I'm just like, you know what? It's not my job. Like, I'll stay on the edge of the box and I'll take that problem. But I don't think I've ever gotten like beat that badly in the air. Because I'll just foul you probably if I think that's gonna happen. But I've done some people before. Cause I'm 6 foot, so I'm a little bit taller than the average soccer player. But yeah, that sucks when that happens to you. You're just kind of like, man, like, I suck. That should not have happened. Oh, I know I gotta move this. But yeah, he had a goal And then Firmino's goal that got called back was dope. And then Salah's goal. I'm a big fan of Salah. Again, not very many good Egyptian players. I'm always like, I'm a big fan of like rooting for people that are like just not the norm. So like if you're like Korean in the league or like, you know, Egyptian or like some random ass race that like never plays soccer or like they don't have like a good national team, I'm always kind of, you know, rooting for you. I'm like rooting for underdog. Like I'm trying to root for Pulisic, you know, because he's an American guy. So I'm like, yeah, let's go America because Americans suck at soccer. That's a whole other can of worms. Or I take that back. We don't suck at soccer. Like you can find good soccer anywhere in the United States. But in terms of like playing at that final level, then yeah, probably not. But there's like a huge misconception though that like European people will come here on holiday or like move here for a job and they begin to play soccer. They're like, they come out to like a pickup game and they're thinking they're going to ball on everyone. And I'm like, that's not the case, dude. There are some people here that can ball. It's just like overall tactics. It's different. Like street ball is different than like playing an actual 11v11 game, you know? So like street ball, nah, you'll get balled on for sure. Just because like there's a high Latino population too. Like, you know, there's a lot of Latins here, so you get a lot of that kind of flavor in our soccer. But, you know, don't get it twisted. You can definitely get balled out here. If you don't take it seriously, of course. But yeah, I've met some British guys that, you know, come out here and they think they're going to ball, and then they find out quickly that ain't the case. All right, not bad. This is better than what I thought was gonna happen. I think just talking about soccer made this feel a lot more just natural, so I appreciate it, Long Arm. I think just sitting here just talking, I think I was less focused on it, and now I'm kind of just painting. I think I got into like a nice groove here by not having just to think about it. But then again, it's probably because I wasn't talking about it. I think when I have to talk about something, it's a little bit harder to execute sometimes. So there's that. But I should have finished the other one, but I didn't. Because I'm a bad person. All right. So cool. So what we can do, I think. Whereabouts are you at, Mr. Longarm? What time is it where you're at? You don't live in the UK, do you? I was gonna say it's like hella late where you are, I would assume. But again, silly of me to assume you're in the UK as a English Premier League fan. All right, hold on a second. Ooh. Oh, Vancouver. Oh, nice. Right on. Cold out there. My friend currently lives out there, and he's coming back to the Bay to get married. A lot of VFX out there in that world. So that's dope. Haven't been to Vancouver. Been to Toronto. Love Toronto. Haven't done Vancouver yet, but maybe that will change. You gotta do some art workshops in Vancouver. That'd be tight. So they probably have like a nice kind of Liverpool supporters, you know, scene out there, I assume. He does not. He's an animator. He plays basketball. Or he claims to play basketball. His name is V. V, if you're watching this, you suck at basketball, bro. You suck. I'm just kidding. He's good. I just haven't seen it yet. He claims that he balls, but I've yet to see him play, and I don't see it. But apparently he balls, so I'll have to wait for it. But he plays basketball. He's an animator, and a very talented one at that. Really fucking good animator, dude. Worked on like all these big games like Destiny. Worked at ILM, like all the Transformers movies, all that kind of stuff. Really good guy. Anyways, he got wifed up by a little Canadian lady. Very, 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 very nice Canadian lady. So they got to go back and get married and stuff. But yeah, I need to go to Canada. I love Canada. Canada was dope. I assume you probably watched that 30 for 30, not 30 for 30 documentary, but that documentary on Amazon called like Football or whatever, where they talk about the Rwandan like Liverpool supporters one. Yeah, his name is V. It's called Vera Suwan, but I call him V. Yeah, he's really, really good. It's Veara, Vera Suwan. I don't know if he's on Facebook or not. But anyways, that football documentary with the Rwandan Liverpool supporters was really cool. Got low-key teared up on that, man. That was some good shit. Did I spell his name right? Vera. Oh, Veara. It's this guy. If you're ever in this guy, ever look him up, look up his work. He's the shit. He's really, really good. Yeah. Also, look up the thing. Liverpool, Rwanda documentary. It's called This Is Football. So it's called This Is Football. It's episode 1. And it talks about the Rwandan genocide and how Liverpool kind of brought them together as a team. Like, brought them together as a family. Their support for Liverpool. So you should watch this. Watch Redemption, This Is Football, episode 1. You're a Liverpool fan, dude, I'll get you teary-eyed, bro. Talk about it next week. It's some good shit, I'm telling you. It'll blow your mind. All right, so we'll probably finish this one, the last one, next week, and hopefully it won't take forever. But it's not too bad. We're we're slowly getting there. I think I got to put in some darker shapes around here. And then we'll kind of call it a day, because I need to kind of get this kind of idea that there's like shade and stuff too, and I haven't really done that the way I'd like to. So maybe that's what I can do. So yeah, so I'll probably work on that part, not offline, but. Okay. So that means that this tree needs to be a little more organized here. So that way it kind of gives it the impression that there's shadows and stuff like that, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, watch the documentary, dude. If you're a true Liverpool supporter, you'll watch that shit and you'll be like, what? This thing is crazy. Really, really, really inspiring documentary. I guess showing like the power of football. Alright, I have no idea what I want to do with this one. Yeah, it also goes over like all kind of football. It goes over like the Japanese women's team that beat the U.S. Like, there's all kinds of good stuff in there, man. It's like anything that involves football and culture. It's like it's on there. It's really, really good series. One of my favorite. Okay, so yeah, we'll save that out for later. Not bad. We'll call this almost done. I have that last one I got to finish. And then we'll work on some lighting, and then that will be a 3-week situation. Though it should have been 2 weeks, but I'm just lazy. So, anyways, thank you for coming by. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, if you have any questions next time, or if you want some stuff to get looked at, you know the deal. Just let me know in the chat, and then we'll take a look at it together. Paint over it, have that kind of stuff. We do the paint overs as well, but. Appreciate you coming through. Thanks for the support. If you like it, share the channel with somebody that may want to have something to listen to while they're drawing, or may want to look at some drawings, and we'll go from there, okay? All right, ciao for now, buddy. Take care, guys. And as always, peace out. Thanks for coming through. Where's the thing at? Okay, here we go. Yeah.